Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Hari Om to everybody. Oh, only one way traffic, huh?
No, it's not yet started. Started, huh?
Not getting. Yesterday, while reading the vision for November, a reference has been made about what we shared when we were in Chennai on October 2nd, being Gandhi Jayanti Day. It would be appropriate to go through Gandhiji's words on Ramnam, silence, and meditation. He says, experience has taught me. Everybody can hear?
No, Swamiji, it has not yet started. Only YouTube it is going on.
I can hear what they say? No.
Through YouTube, they are hearing. Totally 11 people are hearing. 11 people are seeing and hearing. Google Meet has not yet started. It's breaking. The internet is breaking.
So what do we do?
We can continue from this.
But they can, majority of them will not be able to hear, no?
Or we can do Ram Nam for 5 minutes.
Do that.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Yesterday, when we were reading the issue of vision for November, We were making a reference about the satsang we had in Chennai, especially on the Gandhi Jayanti day, October 2nd. So we thought it would be appropriate to read a few more lines of Gandhiji on silence, on Ramnam and on meditation. Gandhiji says, experience has taught me that silence is part of spiritual discipline of a votary of truth. When one comes to think of it, one cannot help feeling that nearly half the misery of the world would disappear if we, fretting mortals, knew the virtue of silence. Before modern civilization came upon us, at least 6 to 8 hours of silence out of 24 were vouchsafed to us. Modern civilization has taught us to convert night into day and golden silence into brazen din and noise. What a great thing it would be if we, in our busy lives, could retire into ourselves each day for at least a couple of hours and prepare our minds to listen to the great silence. What a great thing it would be if we in our busy lives could retire into ourselves each day for at least a couple of hours and prepare our minds to listen to the voice of the great silence. The divine radio is always singing if we could only make ourselves ready to listen to it. But it is impossible to listen without silence. The divine radio is always singing if we could only make ourselves ready to listen to it. But it is impossible to listen without silence. Silence has now become both a physical and spiritual necessity for me. Originally, it was taken to relieve the sense of pressure. Then I wanted time for writing. After, however, I had practiced it for some time, I saw the spiritual value of it. It suddenly flashed across my mind that that was the time when I could best hold communion with God. And now I feel as though I was naturally built for silence. Silence is a great help to a seeker after truth, like myself. In the attitude of silence, the soul finds the path in a clearer light, and what is elusive and deceptive resolves into crystal clearness. Our life is long and arduous quest after truth, and the soul requires inward restfulness to attain its full height. Silence is a great help to a seeker after truth like myself. In the attitude of silence, the soul finds the path in a clearer light, and what is elusive and deceptive resolves itself into crystal clearness. Our life is long and arduous. Our life is long and arduous quest after truth, and the soul requires inward restfulness to attain its full height. True meditation consists in closing the eyes and ears of the mind to all else except the object of one's devotion. True meditation consists in closing the eyes and ears of the mind to all else except the object of one's devotion. Hence, the closing of the eyes during prayers is an aid to such concentration. Man's conception of God is naturally limited. Each one has therefore to think of him as best appears to him. First, him means God. Each one has therefore to think of God as best appears to him, provided that the conception is pure and uplifting. Rama is the strength of the weak. This strength is not to be obtained by taking up arms or similar means. It is to be had by throwing oneself on his name. Rama is but a synonym of God. You may say God or Allah or whatever other name you like, but the moment you trust not about him, but him, you are strong. All disappointment disappears. Ramnama is an alchemy such as can transform the body. The conservation of vital energy has been likened to accumulated wealth, but it is in the power of Ramnam alone to make it a running stream of ever-increasing spiritual strength, ultimately making a fall impossible. Every word of it has come from his own experience. Like Papa, whatever words that come from Gandhiji, it has come out of his own experience, not any textual knowledge. Ramnam is an alchemy such as can transform the body. The conservation of vital energy has been likened to accumulated wealth, but it is in the power of Ramnam alone to make it a running stream of ever-increasing spiritual strength, ultimately making a fall impossible. Just as the body cannot exist without blood, so the soul needs the matchless and pure strength of faith. This strength can renovate the weakness of all man's physical organs. That is why it is said that when Ramnam is enshrined in the heart, it means the rebirth of man. This law applies to the young, old, man and woman alike. When Ramnam is enshrined in the heart, it means the rebirth of man. Though my reason and heart long ago realized the highest attribute and name of God as truth, I recognize truth by the name of Rama. In the darkest hour of my trial, that one name has saved me and is still saving me. When as a child my nurse taught me to repeat Ram Nam whenever I felt afraid or miserable, and it has been a second nature with me, with growing knowledge and advancing years, I may even say that the word is in my heart, if not actually on my lips, all the 24 hours. When as a child my nurse taught me to repeat Ram Nam whenever I felt afraid or miserable, and it has been a second nature with me, with growing knowledge and advancing years. Second nature. Automatic. I may even say that the word is in my heart, if not actually on my lips. All the 24 hours. It has been my savior, and I am ever stayed on it. What is the mark of a man who has Ram enshrined in his heart? Such a man will take God's name with every breath. His Rama will be awake even while the body is asleep. Rama will be always with him in whatever he does. The real death for such a devoted man will be loss of the sacred companionship. A devotee of Rama may be said to be the same as the steadfast one, Sita Prajna of the Gita. He will live in the consciousness of the soul and look to the care first and last of the indweller, God. Such a man will take God's name with every breath. My Ram is not the historical Rama. He is the eternal, the unborn, the one without a second. Him alone I worship. Only the repetition must not be a lip expression but part of your being. I have said that to take Ram Nama from the heart means deriving help from an incomparable power. The atom bomb is as nothing compared with it. This power is capable of removing all pain. There is no doubt whatsoever that Ram Nam contains all the power that is attributed to it. No one can, by mere wishing, enshrine Ram Nam in his heart. Untiring effort is required, as also patience. What an amount of labor and patience have been lavished by men to acquire non-existent philosopher's stone. Surely God's name is of infinitely richer value. With my hand on my breast, I can say that not a minute in my life am I forgetful of God. Three, 4 points Gandhiji is placing before us. What are they? Through this article. It is powerful than atom bomb.
Persistence is required to extract Ram Nam in the heart. Persistence is required to extract Ram Nam in the heart.
Persistence.
Not regular also.
Let us look back. We are all votaries of Ram Nam. All of us are chanting Ram Nam. From that experience, we try to understand, so that we try to compare Gandhiji's and ours. So that we can fine tune, We have not risen up to that extent, agreed. But if we try to understand, not from what we have read, the point that Gandhiji has now touched and kindled in us, because we are all chanting Ram Nam.
In every breath, Ram Nam must.
Is it possible? 24 hours. The final word he says, with my hand on my breast I can say that not a minute in my life am I forgetful of God. Similarly, he says, I may even say that the word is in my heart. Ram Nam is my heart, if not actually on my lips.
Last breath he said, Hey Ram.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. No, what we have read now, ഇപ്പോൾ വാശിരിക്കോമേ ഇപ്പോൾ ഗാന്ധിജിയുടെ അനുഭവത്തെ ചൊന്നാർ ഗാന്ധിജിயோட அனுபவம் நமக்கு கிடச்சிட்டலே பட் அது சொல்கிறத நம்மளும் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கோமே ராம்நாம் அப்போ இன்னும் நமக்கும் கொஞ்சம் கிடச்சிருக்கே அதே இதேமே டேலி பண்ணி பாருங்க we have also something is there, some anubhava we have also have, that is why we are continuing, otherwise we would not have continued. The only thing is now Gandhiji is also facilitating us to do some fine tuning in our methodology. So based upon that, he has touched upon 3-4 aspects. One is, first he talks about silence,
Yes.
How do we do that? Each one has to. It's a food for thought. Silence. He said minimum 2 hours we have to retire from all activity, then it would be helpful. So we try to understand what he means by silence, It is not simply not talking. Not talking is the first step, okay. But what is it? And the second thing he was making a mention about meditation. What is meditation? And third one is about drama, the efficacy of drama, power of God's name. And the fourth and final one is how to make it part of second nature of our body. Just like the morning when we get up, we take the brush without anybody telling. We brush the teeth, we go to the toilet, we take our bath, we change our dress, we have our food, we attend to our work. It is all like an automaton that is going on. Nobody need prompt us, nobody need make us aware. That is, it has become a nature. So Gandhiji puts the word Ram Nama as the second nature.
Swamiji,
Oh.
can this be acquired? This nature, second nature, can this be acquired?
You have to try, He tried. He tried from the childhood days. And it was latent for some years. And probably, we don't know, we assume, because this is what we were told, that up to when he was in South Africa to handle some litigation, and when we were thrown out by the whites from the station, Peter Marisburg station, that night, he was sitting there shivering in cold in that railway station. And the transformation came from there. In this interval period, that is right from his childhood up to that period, we have not heard anything about Ram Nam. It must have been there, latent, because what the Ayah taught her. But then slowly, from Mohandas, the advocate, the young, energetic advocate Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, transformation from him to the Mahatma started from that incident. And where did he acquire the tremendous power? Then he was drawing the power from Ram Nam. At the same time, he did not have any animosity or any enmity towards the whites, but he fought, fearlessly fought. And the entire Asiatics, they were all enthused by him, inspired by him. And then when he came to India, when he had a meeting with Gokhale, because Gokhale was able to spot him, he is the man who has to lead the freedom struggle, who is morally, ethically perfect. Not for name, fame, power, position. A person who is free from all these vested interests. He should lead the movement. And then Gandhiji's life was getting exposed to more and more people. So the second nature, when did he develop? He has not mentioned, but second nature had developed in him. Otherwise, that is why every moment, the moral, ethical values, how he was able to keep up. We now feel that because of this powerful Ramnam, every time the Ramnam puts a check on him, whenever he goes off the line, Ramnam was able to pull him back. That is what he meant by enshrining in the heart. So now, as you have rightly brought this word, second nature, now our effort is, we are also chanting, but we are checking up whether it has become the second nature. Yes, to some extent it is a second nature, because knowingly or unknowingly, whenever we get any time, the nama comes to us. Maximum time we are chanting, no doubt about it. It is the one prop, we hold on to it knowingly or unknowingly. But whether it has become the second nature like him, that each one only knows. So we will now try to feel the second nature always. How do we feel that? It becomes automatic, And he also specifically says that the chanting should not be lip level. Enshrining in heart, that's a wonderful word. Enshrining in the heart. Now, to make it more clear, one anecdote we shared in Chennai. Probably that means how has it become the second nature? At Amki, I could not get goat's milk for Bapu. This is written by Manudi. Abba and Manu, they were the walking sticks of Gandhiji. I tried my best to procure it but failed. She has written. So I had to inform Bapu, who said to me, what does it matter? In the place of goat's milk, coconut milk will do as well. And fresh coconut oil will serve the purpose of ghee. Bapu showed me how to prepare them, and accordingly I gave them to him. As he usually took 8 ounces of goat's milk, he took the same quantity of coconut milk too. But he could not digest it and he had an attack of diarrhea. The frequent motions made him weak till in the evening, when he was coming back to the hut, he felt a reeling sensation. Generally, symptoms like yawning, perspiration, coldness of hand and feet, etc. precede such a reeling sensation in his case. He yawned, but there was only 4 feet more to the hut, and I thought he would be able to get there, but I was mistaken. Bapu, who was walking with my support, was already collapsing. I held his head with care and shouted for Nirmal Babu. Somebody was also there. He came and we both helped Bapu to bed. Then it struck me that I should send for Dr. Sushila Ben, who was in the village nearby. Sushila Nayar, doctor, great Gandhian, who became the health minister of Government of India once. Very great soul. Who I feared that I would be taken for a fool if Bapu's illness suddenly took a serious turn and if I did not send for her in time. I wrote a chit. Now you see. I wrote a chit And just I was giving to Nirmal Babu for dispatching, Bapu woke up from his faint and called out, Manudi. That was Bapu's term for endearment for me. I do not like your calling Nirmal Babu. Gandhiji says, as you are still young, however, I can excuse you. But at such a time, I expect you to do nothing else but to take Ramnam with all your heart. As for myself, I was already engrossed in taking his name. I would have liked it immensely had you started taking Ramnam instead of shouting for Nirmal Babu. Now don't inform Sushila or call her. The real doctor is my Rama. As long as Rama needs service from me, he will keep me alive. When he does not, he will call me back to himself. I do not like your calling Nirmal Babu. As you are still young, however, I can excuse you, but at such a time, I expect you to do nothing else but take Ramnam with all your heart. As for myself, I was already engrossed in taking the name. I would have liked it immensely had you started taking Ramnam instead of shouting for Nirmal Babu. Now don't inform Sushila or call her. The real doctor is my Rama. As long as Rama needs service from me, he will keep me alive. When he does not, he will call me back to himself. A shiver passed through my body when the word "don't inform Sushila or call her" struck my ears. I snatched the chit from Nirmal Babu, tore it into pieces. Bapu saw this and remarked, these are the touching words of Gandhiji, So you had already written? I had to admit, yes. Then he says, today the Lord had saved us both. On reading the chit, Sushila would have left her work and immediately run to us. I would not have liked it at all. That would have made me angry with myself and with you. Thank God, I was tested today. I am convinced that I shall not die of sickness if Ramnam has penetrated deep down into my heart. This rule is for everybody. If we remember right, Gandhiji came back to India in 1906. Till 1948, 30th January. During these 42 years, we have never heard Gandhiji being admitted to any hospital. If at all the body makes some problem, he will resort to nature cure. It was funny to many people. We were told that was how Vinobaji's brother was inspired by Gandhiji's faith in nature cure, and then he started in Urli Kanjan in Pune, the first institution which is still there. Then we will. So thank God I was tested today. I am convinced that I shall not die of sickness. I shall not die of sickness if Ramnam has penetrated deep down into my heart. This rule is for everybody. One has to suffer for one's mistake, and in that spirit I went through the pain. One should have Ramnama on one's lips till one's last breath. But it should not be repeated parrot-like. It should spring from the heart, as in the case of Hanuman. When Sitaji presented a pearl of necklace to him, He broke the pearls to see if the name of Rama was written in them. It does not matter whether the incident actually took place or not. We may not be able to make our bodies as strong as that of Hanuman, but we can certainly make our souls as great. One can achieve the devotion of Hanuman if one is intent on acquiring it. If one cannot reach that height, it is enough if one makes a sincere attempt. Has not Mother Gita taught us to make every effort and leave the result in the hands of God? We should try our very best to follow that teaching. Now you have understood what my attitude is toward the sickness of anybody, be it you, me, or anyone else. And that very day he wrote to an ailing sister, there is only one panacea in the whole world, and that is Ram Nam. But God's name can only prove effective if the rules pertaining to it are strictly adhered to. But who cares to observe the rules? Here is something for us to probe deep. His name can only prove effective if the rules pertaining to it are strictly adhered to. And this happened on 30th January 1947. Strangely enough, the above incident occurred on the 30th of January 1947, according to my diary, exactly a year before his death. These are the words of Manudi. That unshakable faith in Ram Nam remained with him till his last breath. I did not then imagine that on the same day, a year later, I should have the heart-rending experience of hearing Rama as the last audible words of the great departing soul. Mysterious indeed are the ways of the Lord. This particular incident, Manudi wrote, we keep on reading it, and we pray to him now to bless us with the same faith. All of us are subjected to go through this physical problem. And we naturally take to medicines and seek remedies, no? Whether it is allopathic, Ayurvedic, or homeopathy, or nature cure. We should do that. It is not said no. But now we know that our faith in Ram Nam is not that deep as he had. That is the first learn we could understand from. First one we could learn. Same thing happened with Vinobaji also, no? So that is why when he writes, on my breast I can tell you 24 hours, what was that word? With my hand on my breast I can say that not a minute in my life am I forgetful of God. So like Papa, because he had come to the scene prior to Papa, but still we first knew about Papa, that is why we say like Papa. It is not that he was following Papa. Papa had followed him. So the similarity is, like Gandhiji, Papa also derived only from the experience. So he was experimenting with it, and throughout he was becoming conscious of it. And he had clarity, not merely chanting. Yesterday we were reading, meditated and chanted. So he was fully aware whose name he was chanting, that name stands for what. Everything he was very clear. In our case, that may not be there. We had faith in our master's words, so we started chanting. During our non-chanting time, We were not consciously ensuring that we should keep up the remembrance. Later on only Papa slowly unfolded everything and started making that outer activity should be compatible with our inner aspiration, no? Probably after a long time. So there was a gap between the chanting time and the non-chanting time. There was a different approach. That means it had not become our second nature.
Swamiji,
Ah.
the fact that we have to try means it does not become our second nature.
The fact that?
The fact that, what auntie? Fact that?
The fact that we have to try,
Yeah.
make it a fact to try.
Yeah, it has not become our second. The fact that we have to try, it means it has not become our second nature.
The fact that we have to try means it has not become our second nature. Naturally, yeah, it's common sense, correct. Because how do we know? Because during our non-chanting time, whether we are back to our limited sense of individuality's realm or on God's realm, no? During chanting time, yes, we can take it like that. Each one can take a form, but we feel now that during chanting time, we raise ourselves to God consciousness, so that even after when the chanting is not there, that God consciousness will stay with us, and probably that we can.
One more point to pray. That it may become our second nature.
We must pray, one more point to pray, let Ram Nam become our second nature.
Yeah. That is why Papa gave us something about our origin, where from we have come, how he has been with us, right from the seed level up to this moment. And he is named as Ram. So he is there with us, he has been with us, but we have not been able to remember him. So constant remembrance can be termed as the second nature. Outwardly we are leading a life based upon our original nature, our svabhava. So along with that, the God remembrance also stays. Normally we say, behind every thought, every word and deed, we are trying to remember him, or what is expected of us is to remember him. That all gives us the clarity of what is second nature. Yes, as you said, we should intensify our prayer that though you are with me, I should become aware of your presence. So that when the mind goes, or because when it acts impulsively, when it forgets the connection with you, immediately you will be able to pull it and draw it back. I realize it after so many hours or days or weeks. I know you are there, but that awareness is not there throughout. Think about it. So first he talked about silence. These are all the preparatory grounds, we should say, Consciously withdrawing ourselves from the active life. I would call it as silence. Consciously withdrawing ourselves from the active life, the morning or in the night or early morning. And so that the communion starts, communion with him starts. That wonderful word he says, the divine radio is always singing if we could only make ourselves ready to listen to it. But it is impossible to listen without silence. What a great thing it would be if we in our busy lives could retire into ourselves each day for at least a couple of hours and prepare our minds to listen to the voice of the great silence. So while chanting, if we can try it, the mantra comes from, the sound comes from that silence, Then the silence is also there, the sound is also there. Especially mental chanting. And slowly we realize that in between the mantra, in between the letter, there is silence. The sound is nothing but an extension of silence. So, first part. Second part is a few words about meditation. True meditation consists in closing the eyes and ears of the mind. To all else except the objects of one's devotion. Hence, the closing of the eyes during prayers is an aid to such concentration. Man's conception of God is naturally limited. Each one has therefore to think of him as best appears to him, provided that the conception is pure and uplifting. Excellence, So meditation is closing the eyes, and that means the mind means the eyes and ears of the mind. Stilling the mind with the help of Ramnam. So first is about silence. The same is told to us in a different way of meditation. Then the power of God's name.
Swamiji, silence of the mind, Swamiji, that doesn't happen.
Silence of the mind does not happen. Silence of the mind.
We keep on trying. Papa says, utterance of God's name is to make the mind ultimately still, free from all thoughts. It is in the stillness that we know and realize God. So forget about congregational chanting, when everybody is there. We will continue with that. But there should be an effort on our part to retire and then take to mental chanting. Then pray to him to bless us with that, his presence. Then what happens? Let us not define now. Because in our case, it is not a new thing. The only thing is we have to do some fine-tuning somewhere. Luckily, he has blessed us with the taste of Ramnam, commitment to Ramnam, our faith in Ramnam. Everything is there, It may not be very deep. Now, the fine-tuning is We become now aware that Ram Nam should enable us to feel his presence in the form of quiet stillness. So while chanting, especially mental chanting, we try to capture a few moments.
Swamiji, when we are doing mental chanting, can't keep the account.
When we are doing chanting mentally, we can't keep the account.
No account is necessary.
So nowadays I am doing only mental chanting and I can't take the japmala in hand.
Need not.
So,
See, we can do like this. For Mataji's Sankalpa, we will have some quota every day. For that we will have the count. Rest of the time, after that quota is finished, then we need not keep a count. Because as Papa says, the concentration on the count dilutes the commitment to feel his presence. Unknowingly, we will be concentrating on the counting.
and I don't know Swamiji nowadays I can't, from so many, I can't hold the mala out there.
Correct.
Only before going to bed, I take 2-3 malas compulsory. Only before going bed, otherwise
Now-
I do mental chanting only Swamiji.
That is enough. That is enough.
Because some people say we want count, so you are not giving counting.
We need
So
not.
I can't count it.
No, we need, for whatever is possible, you give the count, otherwise, okay, that is all. Nobody will take us into task. Because what is needed is remembrance, not the count.
Please, Swamiji, that way
But-
it's always that.
that is enough. That is enough.
With me, each second is a papa.
Don't worry about counting. We only pray that I should be blessed with constant remembrance through chanting.
Yes.
That's all. That's all. You are behind everything. Even during the non-chanting time and the chanting time, you are with me, you have been with me, I should become aware of it. During the non-chanting time also you are with me, but I should become aware of it. During the chanting time also you are with me, I should become aware of it.
Yes.
This prayer. These are all fine-tuning because we have traveled and now we still feel we are away from the destination. That's all. So, Ram Nam, the power of Ram Nam alone to make it running stream of ever-increasing spiritual strength. Just as he says, just as the body cannot exist without blood, so the soul needs the matchless and pure strength of faith. That is why it is said that when Ram Nam is enshrined in the heart, it means the rebirth of man. This law applies to the young, old, man, woman alike. In the darkest hour of my trial, that one name has saved me and is still saving me. And he now gives us some clues about the methodology, how here. I may even say that the word is in my heart, if not actually on my lips. When we take to mental chanting, it is there in our heart. Because the lips are not moving. Now we can slowly understand why Papa insisted for this mental chanting, So the vocal chanting, whatever we do, we need not stop. But we should also somehow try for a mental chanting for at least some time. Then we will all be able to understand all these words more clearly. I may even say that the word is in my heart, though not on my lips, all the 24 hours. It has been my savior, and I am ever stayed on it. Rama will be awake even while the body is asleep. Rama will be always with him in whatever he does. And he cautions us, there is no doubt whatsoever that Ram Nam contains all the power that is attributed. No one can, by mere wishing, enshrine Ram Nam in his heart. Untiring effort is required, as also patience. With my hand on my breast, I can say that not a minute in my life am I forgetful of God. Gandhiji has given a lot of food for thought. Huh?
Rama is in my life.
Rama is in
Life boat.
lifeboat.
Lifeboat. Yes. So let us try to assimilate as much as Gandhiji has said, to the extent possible, and try it for this word, enshrining in our heart. Enshrining in our heart. We will try. Yeah. Hari Om. More about it tomorrow. Tomorrow is there, no?
Tomorrow is Saturday.
Tomorrow is Saturday. Okay.
Saturday.
Okay. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram 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 Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Hari Om, Hari Om. Hari Om. Namaskaram, Namaskaram. Namaskaram.